60 years ago, on August 6, 1965, the Beatles unveiled Help, which would go on to become one of the most iconic albums in their career. Featuring songs like Yesterday and It's Only Love, the Fab Four created a body of work that felt raw and emotionally revealing. However, one track didn't make it to the final cut, If You've Got Trouble, sung by Ringo Starr. The reasons for its exclusion were clear enough. Written by the Lennon-McCartney songwriting team, it had initially been intended for Help, but was replaced with a cover version instead. Despite this omission, Starr still had his moment to shine on the album. Although Starr was primarily the band's drummer and not known for his vocal work, Lennon, McCartney, and George Harrison made a point of giving him at least one song per project so that he could stand in the spotlight. When the band attempted to record If You've Got Trouble, multiple problems surfaced. The song's lyrics were disjointed, and its meaning was muddled. In comparison with tracks like Help and Yesterday, it came across as subpar. The overall quality wasn't strong enough, and the band ultimately agreed to remove it from the album. Reports suggest that Starr found little enjoyment in recording the song, and his frustration during the session was apparent. All four members agreed with the decision to scrap it, as the performance itself didn't meet their standards. While it never saw release at the time, a mono mix was prepared. This wasn't the only track left out of Help. That Means a Lot, written by McCartney and credited to Lennon-McCartney, was also recorded but later given to musician P.J. Proby because the group didn't feel particularly enthusiastic about it. In place of If You've Got Trouble, the Beatles recorded a cover of Act Naturally for the UK version of Help, a song originally performed by Buck Owens and the Buckaroos in 1963. The recording took place several months after they abandoned If You've Got Trouble and was completed in 13 takes. This would be the last cover they recorded until the Get Back and Let It Be sessions in 1969. Act Naturally was released as the B-side to Yesterday, as a non-album single. It wasn't part of the Help film, but Starr's rendition of the 1963 hit reached number 47 on the charts in October 1965, while Yesterday became a timeless cultural landmark. Both songs were later included on the 1966 compilation Yesterday and Today in the United States and Canada. After Help was released, Starr continued to perform Act Naturally with the Beatles. Years after the group disbanded, he brought it back into his set list with Ringo Starr and his all-star band, beginning in 1989. If You've Got Trouble, however, was rarely mentioned by any of the members. In 1989, more than 2 decades after the Beatles version, Starr teamed up with Buck Owens to record a duet of Act Naturally. Released on July 29th with an accompanying music video, the duet reached number 27 on the Billboard Country chart and stayed there for 11 weeks. The long-forgotten If You've Got Trouble resurfaced when producer George Martin rediscovered it in the EMI Studios vaults, as Starr later recalled in Anthology. Harrison, upon hearing it again, admitted he had no memory of recording the song and described it as one of the strangest tracks they had ever made, saying it had silly lyrics and was probably the least impressive in their catalog, which, in his view, explained why it was never included on anything. Critics who eventually heard it largely agreed with Harrison's assessment. Music writer Ian MacDonald regarded it as the only complete failure in the Lennon-McCartney catalog, while Richie Unterberger of AllMusic offered a softer take, calling it hummable and likable. Though far from Lennon-McCartney's finest work and lacking the polish of their more celebrated songs, If You've Got Trouble doesn't detract from the duo's enduring legacy. After being considered for the abandoned 1985 Sessions album, it was finally released in 1996 on Anthology 2. Even today, it remains one of the most underrated and overlooked songs in the Beatles' history.